Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been almost 4 months since my surgery, and I'm grateful for all of your loving support and healing energy that was sent my way. And I'm very happy to be back with all of you. We're having a very busy month with the spring equinox that occurred on the 20th of this month and the beginning of the eclipse cycle. The first eclipse of this season is a lunar eclipse, which occurs today on this full moon day. The focus of this particular lunar eclipse will be on partnerships, commitments, and legal matters, all central themes for Libra, Aries' opposite sign. So you might want to examine whether any of these areas of your life are ready for a change, and then be willing to make those changes as you are guided. Lunar eclipses always stimulate our emotional bodies. So watch your emotional reactions this month and see if you can sort of take charge of them so that you're responding rather than reacting. The equinox that occurred on March 19th of this year is the day that the sun entered the sign of Aries. These equinox energies will be with us for the next 3 months, and they foretell a dramatic and transformational season with a focus on our continued spiritual or creative life, which takes us out of our mundane everyday life. Before we begin our talk on Aries and Taurus, I'd like to talk a little bit about the esoteric philosophy, sometimes called the ancient wisdom teachings. With this full moon, we begin the first of 3 most important festivals of the year. The festival of Easter, which takes place today, then the festival of Wesak next month, and finally the festival of the Christ, which takes place in May. So in this philosophy, we're taught there are masters who have reached enlightenment and who have gone on to other dimensions to oversee the evolution of humanity on this planet. They do not interfere with our evolution, but they do control the energies and the forces that pour down upon us. And depending upon how we use those energies, we can either help or hinder our own evolutionary process. We are also told that every 100 years, these masters of wisdom meet in what they call a conclave to look over the past 100 years, to see how far humanity has evolved, and to plan for the next 100 years. They will be discussing what kinds of energies and forces they will release onto the earth that will help us in our evolutionary process move forward. Of course, it's always in our hands how we use these energies. So we are ultimately in charge of our own evolution. They are not controlling us or deciding for us. They are just trying to assist us to move forward. These next 3 full moons are particularly important as we begin preparing for the next conclave, which will occur in 2025. The first 3 full moons of every year are considered the spiritual highlights for the year. They are the foundation, and they set the tone for the remaining months. They are 3 points in time through which light, love, and power are released annually to the world. So in a sense, we're helping to prepare the way for 2025. Aries initiates this process this month with the festival of Easter. And as I mentioned earlier, next month we celebrate the festival of Wesak, also called the festival of the Buddha. It is said that the Buddha actually reappears in the Wesak Valley in Tibet and transmits energy from cosmic sources to the Christ. Pilgrims gather there from all over the world to witness this beautiful ceremony. It is said that many of us travel there as well in our dream state and participate. It's always held at the Taurus full moon because it is also said that the Buddha was born, died, and reached enlightenment in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is the sign of illumination. So please be looking for the invitation to be at the Wesak festival ceremony that I will be giving next month. So the initiating impulse occurs in Aries. The transmission of the cosmic energies to the Christ occurs in Taurus. Then Christ disperses these energies toward humanity at the Gemini festival in June. That's why these 3 full moons are the most powerful of the year. This festival is called the Festival of Easter, sometimes called the Festival of Resurrection, because in the esoteric tradition, the focus is on the energy of restoration, regeneration, rebirth, renewal, and resurrection. We are being resurrected from our physical natures into an elevated spiritual realm, lifted out of matter into spirit. This energy resurrects what is dormant or in need of new life within us. After the quiet of winter, Aries springs forth, bringing new hope, new life, and invigorating all the kingdoms of nature. So you might ask yourself, what is dormant within you? What has been hibernating all winter, waiting to be resurrected in you? There's a poem that I always like to read at this time of the year, so you've probably heard it before, but I'm going to read it again. It's called Spring Cleaning by Miriam Dayak. It's time for tulips, worms, resurrection. The tulips open and close, like breathing wings, testing the possibility of spring, for dawn to lick out the last of that rich, dark bowl of night and bleed her own colors into the world. Branches that were bare just last week shoot volleys of blossoms in the sun, and green wood on the apple tree takes off like an arrow into the sky. Even old beams in the house began to softly sing of leaves and the fresh arc of wind. It's time to take a spade and shove sharply with your heel in its old rubber boot. Turn over your life and see what survived. Shake out the bugs. Get some air in the roots. Throw out piles of papers, unfinished projects like layers of old mulch. In the morning, your heart is still a cupped leaf holding dew. If you can match that stillness and look into the sweet water of your own heart, you may catch the wild promise, a goddess just awakening the magic of your own rebirth. Switching gears now a bit, I'd like to quote from Alice Bailey in her book, Bethlehem to Calvary. She explains the Easter festival in this way. The festival of Easter, quote, the festival of Easter symbolizes the spiritual possibilities inherent in each of us as we begin to awaken to the Christ presence in our own heart and life. Resurrection, as esotericists define it, is not related to raising the dead, but it does represent passage from the death of self-absorption to the life of unselfish love, a transition from the darkness of individualism and separativeness to the light of universal spirit, from slavery of the world to the liberty of the eternal. The journey from darkness to light, from the imprisonment of the body to the state of pure being. The path of resurrection is not a one-time happening of the physical body arising from the grave, but it is continually the potential of each hour, each minute, to be born anew, to move on, to let go of the past and choose the future. After the quiet winter, Aries springs forth, bringing new hope and new life, and invigorating all the kingdoms of nature. So Aries brings the energy of new life, It's a springing forth type of energy, pioneering into the unknown, like a seed bursting forth from the ground, or a volcano exploding forth in fiery display. It's a warrior fighting powerful enemies. Aries people are visible and powerful. On a lower turn of the spiral, personality, the mantra for the Aries is ready, shoot, aim. They don't necessarily consider the consequences of their actions. One of their symbols is the ram, and if the Aries personality is in charge, that ram can be butting heads with every opponent, physically bullying or pushing his way against others. But when acting with consciousness, however, with higher consciousness on the higher turn of the spiral, Aries will try to convince with rational logic and examples of obvious right action. The butting of heads will occur through ideas, through words, through thoughtful debate. The mantra for the Aries disciple is, I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. Physically and intellectually, Aries is headstrong, deliberate, and direct. Aries rules the head, which makes sense. It's also a fire sign. Freedom, independence, forward movement is the energy of fire signs. Leo and Sagittarius are the other fire signs in the zodiac, but because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, it is the most potent of all the fire signs. And even though this fire sign inaugurates new beginnings, these new beginnings may not manifest easily. The fiery energy of Aries can strike like a lightning bolt, cleansing and shattering old crystallized forms. And as uncomfortable as that may feel, if this new energy is to open us and lift us up, we must be willing to examine also where we are stuck. What has become solidified within us that is now blocking our way forward? And even though these new beginnings may call to us, we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to let go of what binds us, to welcome in something new? How willing are we to heal old wounds and hurts so that we may dive in clear-headed and cleansed into this new beginning? My astrologer friend, Heidi Robbins, says this about the energy of Aries, quote, this month, daring ones, breathe in hope, innocence, and chutzpah. I don't know how to pronounce that. If you have been hesitating, plunge. If you have been sad, diligently search for a little spring in your heart and tend it lovingly. If you have an idea and have brewing for a time, the time is now to ignite it, spark it, fire it up, and send it out. Come forth, my friends, with what you have to offer. Give your gift. You are, after all, the only one who can give it. End quote. And now another familiar poem, Cargo by Greg Kimura. You enter life a ship, laden with meaning, purpose, and gifts, sent to be delivered to this hungry world. And as much as the world needs your cargo, you need to give it away. Everything depends on this. But the world forgets its needs, and you forget your mission. And the ancestral maps used to guide you have become faded scrawls on the parchment of dead pharaohs. The cargo weighs you heavy the longer it is held. Spoilage becomes a risk. The ship sputters from port to port, and at each you ask, is this the way? But the way cannot be found without knowing your cargo. and the cargo cannot be known without recognizing there is a way. And it is simply this: you have gifts. The world needs your gifts. You must deliver them. The world may not know it is starving, but the hungry know. And they will find you when you discover your cargo and start to give it away. So consider this month what gifts you might have to give away. They don't have to be huge, magnificent gifts. You don't have to save the world. You can just give away your smile, your bright eyes, your loving heart. Radiate that love that is in your heart. That's a wonderful, wonderful gift to give the world. Let's take a few moments now to consider Aries' opposite sign, Libra. Libra's ruler is Venus. So Libra is concerned with partnership, peace, fairness, equality, beauty, and truth. Libra reveals how the balance of our inner masculine and feminine energies influence every aspect of our lives. Aries, with its ruler Mars, requires us to develop courage and the willingness to take a risk, to take a stand when necessary. Where Aries tend to be self-absorbed, Libra is all about relationship. Aries is about me. Libra is about us. Aries needs to learn to include the other, and Libra needs some of Aries' strong sense of self. Libra needs to declare, "Here I stand," because Libra can be indecisive. It's always trying to harmonize. It is sometimes said of this Aries-Libra axis, Aries, the warrior, marries Libra, the peacemaker, conquering the self to cooperate with the other. So how do we harmonize these two energies? How do we hold on to that strong, dynamic, and independent personality and still make room for the other? I believe the answer to everything is love. If love permeates your being, you can trust that your intention is harmlessness. You can trust that your energy is coming from a loving heart. Don't be fearful of your power, your strength. If your tendency is to shoot first and ask questions later, can you incorporate the practice of pausing, considering, reining in a bit of energy to consider your impact? What happens if at that moment you shine the light of your soul on that impulse? What happens if you just stop and breathe deeply? This is a good practice for all of us these next months as these powerful energies impact us. So this month, let us focus on deepening our spiritual practices. There are many volatile energies happening, many upheavals, potentially more chaos and disruptions. The Aries-Libra axis always reminds us that we have to balance initiative, courage, and self-reliance with teamwork, collaboration, and fairness. Where are we being pushed to be more authentic and innovative? Where do we need to renegotiate and rewrite the rules? Where do we need to reclaim our power? So what is being asked of us at this powerful full moon? I think we are asked to be open and receptive to this Christ-like love, the Christ within each of us. This festival asks us to celebrate our inherent interconnection, to realize as fully as we can that we are, in truth, never separate from anyone else. It is a celebration which renews us connects us so we may evolve into a brotherhood and sisterhood of nations. This energy does not come to us from anything external. The energy of Christ-like love is inherent in everyone. How do we foster or grow that energy of unconditional love? Through attitudes of goodwill, wishing everyone well, through hearts opening in compassion to others and ourselves, through sharing what we know and giving what we can. Aries is the Christ-like, is the Christ light. It represents renewal, a bursting forth into greater light. Let us prepare now for our visualization. Let us begin by focusing on our breathing, noticing that with every in-breath, your body becomes more and more relaxed. And as you exhale, you release any tension still residing in your body. Do this for the next few minutes, just gently inhaling and exhaling, relaxing and releasing. Now, with a more focused attention, send the breath into your emotional body, feeling your emotions become still and calm, like a lake with no ripples. Then send the breath to the busy mind and ask that the mind become quiet and receptive as we proceed with our visualization. Now I'd like you to imagine a radiant ball of light sitting right above your head. This is the light of your soul. Imagine now that that energy from the crown is flowing through you and into the center of the earth. Feel your energy becoming solid and grounded as it connects to the mother. Next, I'd like you to imagine the light of the soul above your head traveling upward to the realms. Allow the breath to travel from the point between your eyebrows into the center of your head, and then upward to the soul and beyond. So inward to the center of the head, upward to the soul and beyond. See now in your mind's eye how you are aligned and connected to heaven and earth. Know that you now have direct access to your higher wisdom, but also that you are fully tethered to the earth. Now let us send our invocative appeal upward to the great ones who reside in these spiritual realms. We ask that the energy of Easter, of resurrection, be poured out upon us at this time as an uplifting force. Let the forces of light bring illumination to humanity. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May people of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of every human be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us to do our part. Focusing again on your alignment, feel the divine energy pouring into your being. Absorb that outpouring. Accept that blessing. Receive unto yourself renewal, the energy of new life and new strength. This great love heals and makes whole as it flows through your being. Now ask that this Christ-like energy settle in your heart. Feel your heart expand as it receives this sacred gift. It is a stimulating energy, activating and bringing to greater life the Christ-like energy already inherent in you. Feel this energy as it infuses your entire being, filling you with the light of the Christ. The light of the Christ has embraced you. The love of the Christ has uplifted you. The hope of the Christ renews you. Hear now these words, I am at peace. And now see an image of yourself as this radiant being of light. Imagine yourself walking through your day, radiating this light, touching everything you come in contact with, this light. Watch as this light transforms everything it touches. Imagine this light spreading throughout the planet, encircling the earth with its love, light, and power. Visualize this light as a healing force for all of humanity and the other kingdoms of nature, mineral, plant, and animal. Let us give thanks now for this special moment, this festival of Easter, of resurrection and renewal. Let us bless whatever is wanting to come forth within us this next month. Let us bless our courage to bring it forth, our daring. Let us renew our minds that they may be more perfect vessels for the soul's illumination. Let everything within us be resurrected, be made new, that we might be of greater service. And so it is. And of course, I have to close with another poem, How the Light Comes by Jan Richardson. I cannot tell you how the light comes. What I know is that it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten, or in peril, or in pain, that it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way toward flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth through the eye, the hand, the heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does, that it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that enfolds you. Though it may seem long ages in coming, or arrive in a shape you did not foresee. And so may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces to let it find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc it makes. May we open and open more and open still to this blessed light that comes. Unquote. Have a wonderful month, my friends, and go forth to radiate the Christ-like love that is in you. Please plan to join us for the Wesak Festival next month on April 23rd. Blessings to you all. Namaste.